At Minuteman Press, we believe in building relationships, treating people with respect, and we take real pride in helping people build their own brands. We create, we design, we print, and we promote. We laugh, we enjoy. We are friends and family. We are thankful for your trust and the opportunity to build with you. We are modern, we are knowledgeable, and we are inspired. We are growing. Contact your local Minuteman Press today to say hello and see how we can help your business. Together, let's build our relationship.
Good evening and welcome to the 5th episode of Tiki Hut Central, the podcast. I'm your host, Ken Rhodes, with my co-host, Lisa, over here. Say hi to everybody. Let us know how you're doing. Make sure the sound's good tonight.
Hi, everybody.
We got a good show for you tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about a lot of things. But before I get into the show tonight, I've got a little PSA, so to speak, of customer service can at times go good, bad, great, or indifferent. And many of us are so quick to post to social media, to go to Yelp, to go to all of these different places to let people know how bad our experiences were or how good our experiences were. And that's because many of us are like the Wizard of Oz. We hide behind our computers, and if you saw the Wizard of Oz, he was a short little man with a little voice that was controlling the city. Lisa and I went away this past weekend. We stayed at a beautiful resort. The service was subpar, to say the least. And we decided rather than go right to social media, we would simply reach out to the manager of the resort. We sent a nice email, and yesterday received a phone call back from the manager. He was obviously upset by our letter because we pointed out all of the things that we were unhappy with. But like I explained to him, rather than go to social media immediately like everybody does, let's talk first. So at the end of my conversation with him, he informed me that he wasn't going to give us a discount on our next stay or even give us a free next stay. He immediately offered us 50% off of our entire bill for the trip, which was a fantastic gesture. We thanked him profusely, and that's really where we as a community need to be when we have a customer service issue. Go right to the source first, find out what the issue is, and see if they can resolve it before you start barking up the wrong tree.
And more than likely they will. I mean, nobody wants to be bashed on social media, so give them a chance to make it right.
Sure. I mean, what's your take on people going right to Yelp or those Google sites just to bash somebody?
It's just not cool.
Yeah.
I'd much rather if somebody had a problem with, anything that I did, just come straight to me and tell me and let me make it right.
Absolutely. So that's just a little PSA for everybody to think about. Tonight's show is a little bit different. It's a lot of fun tonight. It's interactive for those of you watching at home, or maybe you're tuning in later. It's a real cool show. You can see that we've got some swag today. We've got our 16-ounce custom imprinted beer glasses for our brew tonight. I'm wearing our fashionable multi-camo Tiki Hut Central podcast hats that Welcome Back Shirt Shack did for us. Did a phenomenal job. Reached out to Annie. She turned them around in 24 hours.
And they did our shirts.
And they did our shirts as well. So in order to kick off the show, we're going to bust open our first beer.
Oh, boy. This one makes me nervous.
Tonight's
Excited. I'm excited at the same time.
It's an excited nervousness. Tonight's beer is made by Eagle Brewery in the UK, and it's sold through, looks like Killian Importing. This is banana bread beer. It's either going to be fantastically good or fantastically bad. We don't know. We're going to bust it open real quick here. We're going to do a little cheer, and then we'll get right into the show. There's a little for you.
All right. And a lot for me.
And a lot for me.
I'm not a big beer drinker, for those who...
All right. Cheers to episode 5. Let's have a sip, and we'll get right into the show.
I like that.
You like that?
I like it.
Hey, she likes it. Hey, Mikey. Well, there you go. That's banana bread beer. I picked that up the other day from ABC right here in Claremont. So
That's pretty dang good.
yeah, see? So we may have to bust open the second can before the end of tonight's episode.
I found a beer that I like.
Right on, right on.
It's amazing.
Well, tonight, obviously, we've covered brews. We're going to cover business right now. One of the most important things in business or starting a business, or probably the most exciting thing when developing a business, is coming up with a logo, your image that will carry through for the entire time you're in business. And of course, you can always revise your logos as time goes on. We'll look at some iconic logos, and you may see some that are outdated, some that are new. But again, these companies built their brands on logos. Tonight, I'm going to start with just something real simple. This is a company called the Startup Junkies that we're working with. This was initially their first logo, kind of comical, kind of 1950s-ish. And, they wanted a complete revision. So we took that logo and we went ahead and did a couple of other revisions, some low resolution revisions for them to look at, see what they found in those. And we kept moving forward till they found something that they liked. Here's another couple of logos that we came up with. And I'm going to start just throwing these forward because they're falling all over the place. And I do not want to knock over the banana bread beer. Again, just another rough draft. And then finally, here at Minuteman Press, we hit the logo. We hit the nail on the head and came up with a fantastic logo. Awesome. This is a brand new logo for the Startup Junkies. You can see it's pointing upward. Success is upward. You have a paper airplane there that's actually folded out of money. And it just shows that the company's going to skyrocket. It's called Startup Junkies. And you'll probably hear more about Startup Junkies probably in the next month or two. So here you go. We can throw that one that way. Boom. And do we have our little... Okay. What we're going to do right now is we're going to showcase some iconic brands. We're not going to mention the brands until we get into the actual information on those brands. First one here, when looking at this curvy orange line, you can't help but smile. Indeed, this is exactly what the logo designer Turner Duckworth had in mind. Amazon wanted to use the smile symbol to the maximum. Jeff Bezos, everybody knows, worth $182 billion yesterday. He founded Amazon. He was unwilling to spend an extra budget on designing, packaging, and other branding elements. So Duckworth suggested putting a smile on boxes, bags, and other carriers. Market-wise, it was extremely smart of them to do it. Now the company was delivering smiles directly to their customers' doorstep. The smile is also an arrow that goes from A to Z in the word Amazon. This path from the first to the last letter of the English alphabet means to say that e-commerce website offers an exhaustive range of products. So that's our first logo of the night from Amazon. And we're going to keep moving through. We'll get the next one up here in a second. And here it goes. And we're going to hear a little bit from Lisa on this one.
All right. The man dressed in ancient armor is referred to as a gladiator in both the original trademark and also in the current trademarks. The initial trademark of 1958. This character is believed to hold, represent, as well as symbolize the values of integrity, quality, security, and satisfactory customer service, which is what we just discussed.
All about service.
The logo is truly a corporate identity as it depicts formalness and delivers a strict business outlook. And as you may know, it is American Express.
You can see this on cards, on, I don't know if they still have, what do they call those? It's not money when you go away. I don't know what they call it anymore.
Oh,
Traveler's checks.
yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
Traveler's checks as well.
I don't think they do that anymore.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Lisa just gives her card number out online and people can travel wherever they like anyway.
Funny. All right, next up.
The next logo here, many of you may remember that Forrest Gump invested in some sort of a fruit company. Well, this is one of the most valuable brands in the world. It's mainly known as an exquisite hardware designer. In fact, Apple Inc. versus Apple Corp. Had a long legal war over brand identity because Apple Records was owned by the Beatles, the famous rock band of the 60s and 70s. So Apple paid almost $500 million to settle and use the Apple logo. The designer had said he was going for a silhouette of an apple, but to make it more look like an apple and not some other round fruit, he did what one does with an apple, took a bite out of the apple. So the rainbow apple logo is iconic. Apple used it from 1976 to 1998. Whoops. We are a little bit out of order, but we're going to fix it right now. All right, Lisa's going to talk about these beautiful animals.
All right, the famous Clydesdales. All right, April 1933, August A. Bush Jr. and Adolphus Bush III surprised their father, August A. Bush Sr., with the gift of a 6-horse Clydesdale hitch to commemorate the repeal of prohibition of beer. Realizing the marketing potential of a horse-drawn beer wagon, the company also arranged to have a second 6-horse Clydesdale hitch sent to New York to mark the event. The Clydesdales drew a crowd of thousands on their way to the Empire State Building. After a small ceremony, a case of Budweiser was presented to former Governor Alfred E. Smith in appreciation of his years of service in the fight against prohibition. This hitch continued on a tour of New England and the Mid-Atlantic states, thrilling thousands before stopping in Washington, D.C. in April 1933 to reenact the delivery of one of the first cases of Budweiser to President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Shortly after the hitch was first introduced, the 6-horse Clydesdale team increased to 8. On March 30th, 1950, in commemoration of the opening of the Anheuser-Busch Newark Brewery, a Dalmatian was introduced as the Budweiser Clydesdale's mascot. Now a Dalmatian travels with each of the Clydesdale hitches. Interesting.
So that's the Budweiser Clydesdales. And for those of you watching now, maybe you'll tune in later, probably the greatest commercial of all time involved the Budweiser Clydesdales. It was right after 9/11, and Budweiser had no verbiage. There was no signage, just simply the Clydesdales moving across the New York bridges and then bowing to New York City. So catch that on YouTube. I'm going to give the next logo to Lisa because she is a driver. So here we go.
So, Lindsay, if you're watching, this is for you too. This logo features inverse Bavarian colors. Nevertheless, on October 5th, 1917, the young firm received a company logo. This first badge, which was registered in the German Imperial Register of Trademarks, retained the round shape of the old Rapp logo. The outer ring of the symbol was now bounded by 2 gold lines and bore the letters BMW. The company's home state of Bavaria was also to be represented on the company logo. The quarters of the inner circle on the BMW badge display the state colors of the state of Bavaria, white and blue. But they are in the inverse order, at least as far as heraldic rules are concerned, where you read clockwise from the top left. The reason for this inverse order of blue and white in the BMW logo was the local trademark law at the time, which forbade the use of state coats of arms or other symbols of sovereignty. I have a word I can't pronounce.
I finally caught her after beating my tail with entrepreneur.
Commercial logo.
I got her twice.
There you have it, BMW.
The iconic BMW logo. Here, take that one and fire it away. All right. Next up.
Get this out.
Sometimes it's not so much using a logo, but a shape. And this is an example of a shape that everyone should know well. Basically, in 1913, this company wanted a more distinctive bottle. so it was easily recognizable to consumers. Ben Thomas, one of the bottlers, said the consumer should be able to recognize the bottle in the dark just by feel. By 1916, the now familiar contoured bottle had been developed. Due to a lack of research by the team working on the new bottle, it resembled a cacao bean rather than a coca bean, but the company indeed had a distinctive bottle. This design was recognized in 1960 by the U.S. Patent Office as being distinctive and belonging exclusively to the one and only Coca-Cola. Other names that the contour bottle goes by are the Mae West bottle or the Hobble Skirt bottle. So there's an example of a product that is representative of the brand all by itself, Coca-Cola. All right. Shipping. Next up. Here you go.
All right. This logo is mostly known for its tricky optical illusion. If you look closely between letters E and X, you'll spot a white arrow. It stands for speed, accuracy, strive for perfection, and perseverance in achieving goals. Each shade on the logo also has its meaning. You might have noticed that the X part of the name changes its colors across different displays. It's a witty way to distinguish the departments inside the company. For example, orange stands for FedEx Express, green is the corporate color of FedEx Ground, and red is a direction indication at FedEx Freight.
So there you go. That's FedEx. Really cool logo. And sometimes it's just the text alone with a little hidden message.
And the next one you're going to enjoy because you are a driver.
Here we go. The next logo is probably one of our favorite logos.
I got this.
You all probably know it just by looking at it. The company was founded in 1903 by William S. Harley, an author, and Walter Davidson brothers. The event took place in a Dole barn in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA. The company began to produce ordinary bikes with air-cooled onions. Onions. I guess they're onions. For those of you that can't pronounce G's, it's onion today. As you can see, the design is sheer cut. Clear verges tell of temper and aggression. But let's not forget the colors were originally perfectly combined too. The colors of Harley-Davidson's logo are black, orange, and white, and they manifest brand reliability and a biker's coolness as well. This is why various merchandise and goods under this brand are so popular. So this is really a great example of how a brand has become a lifestyle brand, where people that may never ride a motorcycle, that may never own a motorcycle, you can take that away, just love the toughness of it, the style of it, and of course, it is an American icon. So that's Harley-Davidson. There's nothing more to say about them other than we love riding them. And usually we ride to some sort of a bar. As you can see, we are at the Tiki Bar today. It's a great location. The weather's beautiful here, and my co-host is beautiful as well. So we got a great show tonight with that. Okay, the next logo Lisa's going to go talk about, and all of you should know the logo without even any other information.
In 1968, the line was now removed from the golden arches. The font was changed for the text and is shown on the golden arches. This logo references the signature architecture of double mansard roofed restaurants.
Oh, say that 10 times.
Double mansard roofed restaurants, replacing the red and white tile buildings that had the golden arches. This logo was used on many restaurants and commercials until September 2006, before the redesign Forever Young, while it was used internationally since 1968. This was first shown on the Big Mac introduction commercial from 1968. This logo was used as a current logo in 1969, but only in Canada. Even though this logo was used until September 2006, when the restaurant being designed Forever Young, this logo is still used internationally today. Most of the other countries use the logo until 2006, except for some other countries that were used a different year because of closing due to bankruptcy. This logo can still be seen on some of the windows, doors, outside signs, the rug, outside walls, picture frames, order speakers, wet floor cones, and drive-through signs at some of the locations. This was used in countries outside the U.S. in any year until 2006.
So there you go, the world famous Golden Arches. Ray Kroc started McDonald's. If you ever caught the movie, it's a great movie, and it shows some of the internal battles that were associated with Ray Kroc and the original partners involved in that. But that's the McDonald's right there. Next up, we're moving right along with famous drink brands because they are so iconic. On August 28th, 1898, it was decided to change the name of Brad's Drink as Pepsi Cola. This was the first Pepsi Cola logo to be used. Obviously, this one isn't. According to Sins, it was only a scribbled version of the name chosen by the then CEO because nothing else was available. As you can see by this image, in 1987, the logo was modernized with the typeface changed to a font similar to one that would be used for the next 16 years. There is also a reserved trademark next to the second P. Like the previous logo, this is still seen on some older vending machines and signs. Another iconic logo, just like Coca-Cola, we've got Pepsi right here. Next, go ahead.
I was going to say the next is a lot of people's mothership, so to speak. Mine would be the one after this, but we'll get to that one. All right, so this one, the original founders first named their company.
I think it's Pequod.
Pequod?
Imagine saying that every day. I think I call some people a Pequod. You're a Pequod. Anyway,
after the whaling ship in the story of Moby Dick, Starbuck, who was the ship's chief mate. The Starbucks logo and packaging have a striking look and feel that stands out and catches your eye. For sure, it's a mermaid, right? Cool. Having a memorable and recognizable logo helps to increase loyalty and brand awareness. A double whammy for Starbucks, who have nailed both. We're not going to lie about that. Starbucks' current logo is minimalistic compared to previous designs. It helps them advertise on websites, print their logo on products like coffee cups and t-shirts, and other promotional materials to spread their message of inspiration and nurturing across the world. 1987, during this time, the company was bought by Howard Schultz, who wasted no time redesigning the logo. This would be the first evolution of the Starbucks logo. The mermaid received a makeover. Her breasts were covered by her hair.
Damn.
That's a good thing. She kept her crown. Then she became more streamlined.
She must have gone to the gym, I guess.
She is the hourglass figure now. The logo's color transformed from brown to Kelly green to represent the company's new purpose. The words tea and spices were dropped as well. Instead, they created a new word mark, Starbucks Coffee, with 2 stars connecting the words. The stars' use and placement helped the logo stand out and push its brand identity to be memorable and easy to recognize. Super cool.
So there you have the Starbucks logo. So with all of Starbucks branding, their cross-branding with mugs and shirts and hats and you name it, Starbucks has their name on it. Even more impressive overall is that Starbucks can sell a cup of coffee for $8. So that's really the story behind Starbucks. Well, maybe not $8.
Maybe 4 or 5.
What's a grande cafe mocha go for? It's got to be like $7 or $8. Finance that over 3 weeks for those of you that need to.
The next one's my mothership.
Oh, here we go. So if Lisa ever gets lost, you know where to find her.
I call it Target.
That's French because it's more sophisticated and she pays a little bit extra because she says it.
Frenchman.
Oh, there you go. See, the French own it. Go figure.
Am I reading this one?
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead. While you're there, go ahead, knock yourself out.
The Target logo is a prime example of a simple idea executed extremely well. I agree. It consists of very powerful, ingenious, and catchy design that communicates their business identity precisely. The Target logo is often considered as one of the most iconic and instantly recognizable logos in history. Colors of the Target logo. The logo incorporates the red and white color scheme, which is the simplicity and harmony from shape to color, and appears magnificent with the overall brand imagery. While the red color symbolizes the passion, purity, and business responsibility of the company, the white color stands for its nobility, elegance, and prestige.
There you go. That's a lot for just a couple of bullseye, essentially.
Bullseye.
Go figure.
Very neat.
Do you want to do this one? Or
No.
Okay, I'm going to do this one because although women love it, I think men love it more. So here we go.
There you go.
This company is popular with men and women. So hopefully you're getting your girl some lingerie at Victoria's Secret and not, what? I don't know what we're doing.
That was a minute ago.
Oh, that was a minute ago. Okay. We have to stop looking at ourselves on an iPad because then we're far behind again. Anyway, guys, if you better be buying your girls lingerie at Victoria's Secret, and definitely not Home Depot. Victoria's Secret actually uses two logos. One is a text-only logo, and the other features both text and a symbol. The text logo simply spells out the words Victoria's Secret in uppercase lettering. Although all the letters are in uppercase, the initials are slightly larger than other letters in the word. Numerous fonts have been used over the years. The text and symbol logo feature the same text and font as the main logo, with the only difference being the symbol's addition. Its symbol is simple, designing using the V and the S in uppercase to represent the brand's name's initials. The letters are slightly staggered and interlinked. They are displayed in black, usually against a white background. In some instances, the letters and symbols are white against a black background. The Victoria's Secret symbol is also used as a monogram. So everywhere you go, you'll always see that Victoria's Secret sign, and that pink and black and white stands out fantastic. So that's Victoria's Secret. For those of you that have been following the show, you should know who our sponsor is by now. And again, they have a simple logo. This logo is iconic. This logo has been changed around since its inception in 1973. The colors stand out with virtually anything, and you can find this on storefronts, on signage, on my shirts that I wear every day to the office, business cards, flyers, everywhere you can possibly go. Minuteman Press is the largest printing franchise in the world. I don't know offhand how many countries they are actually in, but again, Minuteman Press, you can see a very simple logo. It's a very bold logo, but again, something easily recognizable. So that's Minuteman Press, and Minuteman Press can design any logo that you need simply from a sketch on the back of a napkin done in pencil. So if you need a logo designed or you just need some idea, oh, isn't that interesting? Because of the green and the green screen, you can actually see right through the solid paper. So this is like a Superman thing. Yeah, isn't that weird? Go figure. All right, so that's Minuteman Press. And finally, on our corporate logos, many of you are catching the show. Maybe you've seen a zillion Facebook posts on the show, and we have our iconic lizard.
And we appreciate everyone who has been sharing
absolutely
our podcast on Facebook. We thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely getting us a lot of views. And again, you want to come on the show, let us know. We'll give you all the details. There's nothing scary about it. All we're doing is talking and drinking beer, so you really can't beat that. But that's our newest logo. We started with a lifelike iguana and a piece of clip art for a microphone, and we actually went ahead and created a custom logo that we can use anywhere. Just like you see, we've got them on our 16-ounce beer mugs, hats, shirts, everywhere and everything we can put our brand on. You'll see Tiki Hut Central everywhere. We're going to grab a quick sip of beer, and then we're going to move on to our music segment, which is also about iconic logos. So have some more of this real quick.
Stuff is pretty good. It tastes a lot like banana bread, but it's not like overkill of banana.
It's not super sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got kind of a nice,
it just has
smooth.
a little bit of a banana flavor, but it's not overkill.
I liked it when it was a little colder, though.
Yeah.
So that other one will have to bust open. So we'll be busting open that other one after the show tonight. Music, just like business, musicians and bands like to have logos that they can reproduce, and people want to go out and buy their shirts and buy their albums and hats and tattoo their bodies with these logos and so on. So here's just a couple for you to take a quick look at. We don't have much to say about them, and we'll give you an opportunity to just kind of guess what band they represent. So here's our first logo from a band that came on the scene in 1987. Their first album was Appetite for Destruction, and they blew up the charts, and they're still touring today. Again, a very iconic logo. Pretty simple, a pair of guns and a pair of roses. So there's your Guns N' Roses right there. So a great iconic logo. You'll see it everywhere, and it's easily recognizable. Our next logo, some of you 90s grunge kids from Seattle may recognize, so we'll put this one up here for you. This logo had interesting. The album that one of the albums they did had a young boy swimming in a pool, and some of the albums showed his genitalia, and other albums, it was gone. So it must have been cold on some days when they were shooting that and warm on other days. I don't know.
Was that the poster you just edited?
That was the
out?
poster that I just edited. So Alyssa wanted the, I think it's the Nevermind album. She wanted that for her wall, so I photoshopped his little
man parts.
little man part off so that she didn't have to stare at it on her wall.
She
So
goes, wait a minute, did you Photoshop that out? He's like, yep.
so there it is. That's if you don't know already, that is Nirvana. The next logo is from another big iconic band from the early 70s. Their first album was called Get Your Wings. They've written great songs such as Dream On, Dude Looks Like a Lady. In fact, Dude Looks Like a Lady, Steven Tyler wrote after meeting Vince Neil of Motley Crue in a bar, because when Motley Crue first came out, they had so much makeup and hair and spandex. Well, I thought it was Bret Michaels, but it's actually Vince Neil. Vince Neil.
Oh.
Most of you have seen Vince Neil today, and obviously the dude does not look like a lady anymore. But of course, an iconic band. They've broken up. They've gotten together, and they've been playing for probably almost 50 years. So that's Aerosmith right there. Here's another one for all you music buffs. You probably know what these four symbols mean. For those of you that don't, they represent Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, John Paul Jones, and of course the great John Bonham. The band, Led Zeppelin, probably one of the greatest rock blues bands ever. They came out in, I believe, 1967 with Led Zeppelin 1, followed by Led Zeppelin 2, followed by Led Zeppelin 3, which I believe was Physical Graffiti, followed by Zeppelin 4, which contained the biggest hit of their career, Stairway to Heaven. So Led Zeppelin, they broke up in 1980 when John Bonham died of some sort of drinking issue. But there's another logo, great representative of a great band. The next logo, we actually had the lead guitarist of this band just passed away. You should know the band just by the initials right there.
Just went to a tribute.
We just went to a tribute with my buddy's band, Completely Unchained. They do the early career of course, this band, Van Halen. My best Van Halen story, it was 1978. I was walking through Sam Goody on 6th Avenue by Radio City Music Hall, and they were playing Van Halen 1. I had never heard anything like it. I walked up to the desk. I said, "What is that?" And I bought that on 8-track tape, Van Halen. So iconic band, iconic guitar player, phenomenal. That's Van Halen.
8-track. Some younger kids are like, what
8-track. What is an 8-track?
What is an 8-track?
Well, you know, actually, some 8-tracks back in the day, because of the way they were manufactured, sometimes the song would stop, skip to the next track, and then play again. The balance of the song. So there was sometimes a break in listening to the damn song.
Wow.
Because it was basically one piece of tape with 8 tracks, and there were essentially four sides, I guess you could say. I don't know.
And
It's been a long
very
time.
large.
They were super big. I mean, I filled up the trunk of my Thunderbird with 8-track tapes, and I think I had 60 tapes in there. So I mean, that's what 8-track tapes were like.
We had only a couple I remember. We had The Gambler. We had, which is Kenny Rogers. We had the Beach Boys, and I can't remember. I think one other.
On 8-track.
On 8-track.
There you
Those are the
go.
only ones that I can remember.
So,
Not long after that, they started getting into cassette tapes. So
cassettes, yeah. Cassettes were next. And cassettes like
I had
8-tracks.
a ton of those.
Woo! You know, whenever you picked up those double cassettes or those double live concert cassettes or double live 8-track tapes, 9 out of 10 of those would get stuck in the damn tape recorder, and you know, you'd be pulling it apart with pencils and so on. So
And you had to rewind it.
you had to rewind it with a pencil, and it's just a mess.
I had one of those memberships where you'd get like
Oh,
And for
18 records for a
penny
nickel or
or
something,
something.
and
Yeah.
you never bought any more.
I did. I think I did a couple times.
I don't know how Columbia House ever stayed in business by doing that, because, you know, 18 records for a penny, and then you were supposed to buy, I don't remember how many it was. It could have been 6 over the next year or something like that at full price, and their full price was higher than the full price
Yeah.
in your local Kmart, Walmart.
I did it, though.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had a lot of country tapes.
I did it a lot of times. I just changed my name, and new stuff came to the house for only a penny. So there you go.
You crook.
Very bad. The next logo that I'm going to show you is iconic, very simply because sometimes just a type style can represent your brand. For example, Walt Disney World has a very distinct font that just by seeing some writing on a board or on a sheet of paper, you know that that's Walt Disney World's font, and that's proprietary. This band, of course, also uses the same font over and over again. They hail from Sheffield, England, and they got started when some of the guys in that band were about 15 years old. I think Joe Elliott was like 15 when the band started. So Def Leppard who are we going with?
The bad thing about live.
Bad thing about live. Def Leppard, still touring the world. Well, actually, nobody's touring right now. Lisa and I, our band will be touring next week in the garage because it's the only place we can play.
We were supposed to go last July to see Def Leppard, Poison, and
Motley Crue. And I think Vince Neil was learning the words to his songs again, if he could stop eating.
And it's supposed to happen this July, but I still don't think it's going to happen. Or June.
Maybe June.
There's no way.
But that's Def Leppard.
Yep.
Now for the most iconic band logo ever produced. And many of you that are probably my age, older, and hopefully some of you that are younger know this logo. This logo, growing up as a kid, you could see it. People would paint it on the back of their Levi jean jackets. You'd find it everywhere. You would find it on stickers, on walls, the iconic tongue being stuck out at you. And of course, it's the one and only Rolling Stones. I believe that they are 60 years in and still playing. Well, they can't play live right now either, but 60 years in, they're still going. The Rolling Stones, great band. And that's about it for our logos, both our business logos and our band logos. What'd you think, Lisa? Did you learn anything?
Oh, yeah, a lot of information, a lot to take in.
A lot of good stuff to take in. So there you have it. So we covered beer. We're actually going to cover beer again here in a minute. We talked about business logos, and I guess the bottom line with tonight's episode is that when you're starting a new company, you really need to think deep about what image it is you want to put out there. Whether you want something to be humorous, whether you want something to be very creative, or maybe something as simple as like the Target logo that represents the brand extremely well. And that's something Minuteman Press here in Claremont can help you with. You can come in with your idea, what you're thinking, and we can create a custom logo for you. The other thing with custom logos, I know that you can purchase custom logos online, pay for custom logos online, and all of that. The most important thing that I tell people all the time with logos, especially logos designed online, is you always want to make sure you are buying a vector logo. It's a vector format. And what that means is the logo, you can put it on the end of your thumb, and the clarity is outstanding. And you can put it on the side of the tallest building, and it retains its clarity. So vector logos, usually done in Adobe Illustrator. Adobe products are great. We use them over at Minuteman Press. And like I said, when you want to design a logo, come to us. You've seen, how familiar we are with, some of the iconic brands of logos, and we can definitely help you out. On that note, Lisa, we have anything else?
I don't believe so. Do you want to let them know, again, how they can be on the show? Or?
Oh, sure. The best thing to do is we post on Facebook all the time. If you'd like to be on the show, you can drop us a line. You can email us. We have a website, Tiki Hut Central, thepodcast.com. You can email us on Facebook. It's not really a big deal to come on the show. We have no audience. It's just us having a conversation. What we do is we'll sit down with you. We'll learn a little bit about what you do. We'll come up with a list of questions. We'll ask you to provide some questions that maybe we wouldn't think of asking you about yourself, your business, anything related to what you do and who you are. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We started feeding people, which is even greater. And of course, we're always drinking. So that works as well. And where else can you get scenery like this? I mean, here we are. It's beautiful, sunny, and we're in the tropics here, and just talking to you folks. So on that note, this is it for episode 5. We'll see you next week. We've got another special guest coming next week. We'll announce that online, and you'll be able to check it out probably the next day or two once I confirm. But thanks again for joining us here at Tiki Hut Central, the podcast. I'm your host, Ken Rose. This is my beautiful wife, Lisa, and it's see you next week. Thanks for coming in.
Bye, everybody.